Welcome to Intercept Your Lunch, the quick hits podcast that feeds all your sports cravings during your 30-minute lunch and leaves you wanting more. And now, here is the host of Intercept Your Lunch, Marty Joins.
What's going on, everyone? That's right, Marty Joins here live at Intercept Your Lunch, where we give you everything you need in a 30-minute segment to impress your boss at the water cooler. And this episode, guys, a little remake. Back in mid-March, we had Ryan MacCubbin, Mr. National, and Brady Reuter, the Oriole fan fanatic, on, giving us some preseason picks on how those teams and everything around the MLB would do. Now we're bringing them back in the midseason. Let's see how their picks have been panning out, along with some updates on what the NL and AL races are looking like. And as always, the Bring Your Lunch Money segment is hot, heavy, and loaded. Betsy, ring the bell to start the show. We're halfway through the baseball season. We've got a few local teams here, the Washington Nationals and the Baltimore Orioles, and talking a little Nationals baseball and bringing on a familiar voice, Ryan MacCubbin. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Marty. Thanks for having me back on your show.
Yeah, no, appreciate you jumping back on. We said we'd try to do something halfway through the season to kind of see how things are shaking up in the NL East as well with the Nationals. And just for folks out there who didn't get to meet you last episode, just give a background of yourself, where you're from, and give us your favorite teams that you root for.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, my name is Ryan, and I'm from Delta, Pennsylvania, and I work for Masson. As before, like I noted, this year's been a little bit different from exactly what I do. I'm more of an expanded role, but I've been on both sides of the network for the Nationals and Orioles. I do a lot of stats and the graphics that you see. So I'm just covering the team throughout the game, and I just try to give the best, stats to back up our two hometown teams.
Good deal, man. Good deal. And let's get into it, right? Like you follow the Nationals. You do a lot of work with them. And although the Nationals right now are sitting fourth in the NL East, they're only 6 games back of the lead, which means they're only a handful. They're even less than a handful of the wild card. So, I mean, what do you make of the whole NL East division? I mean, there's a lot of teams in there fighting for 1 to 2 spots. How do you see that kind of panning out?
I definitely see it going down to September. It's going to be a dogfight to get there. The biggest headline is Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Atlanta Braves. Him tearing his ACL was heartbreaking, man. Everyone, even outside the NL East, loves watching him play and what he can do for the game. He's that young rising star that everyone loves to watch. But getting back on track, just the division standings, like you mentioned, the Nationals are 6 games back from the Mets, and the Mets do look like the favorites right now, and I understandably, understand why. That being said, we need to see DeGrom get back from, the IL and return back to his form, because he just lights out. What he's doing, a lot of people, don't understand how great he's performing with that low ERA and the history behind that. That being said, the Nationals – roughly 20 of their 26 games will be against their division. So this is a huge approximately 30-game stretch. So they need to, really get it back into gear here and get Strasburg healthy. And we'll see how things shake out here in the second half of the All-Star break now.
Yeah. I mean, piggybacking off what you said, the Mets, that pitching staff strong. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the MLB trade deadline's here, next week, the 30th?
Yeah, that is – well, it'll be July 31st, yes.
31st. So,
yeah.
And I know that they've got new ownership there in New York, and they've been big spenders since his arrival, and potentially there at the deadline chasing the likes of Chris Bryant from Chicago Cubs. I've heard his name go out there, maybe even getting another arm. So that'll be interesting to see what the Mets do. And, looking throughout the division, you've mentioned too the Braves losing their star player and how that hurts them, and the Nationals. I'm just looking at standings here, and they're 18-25 on the road. So I know you mentioned they've got 30 games left within this division, and some of them are going to be on the road. So they're definitely going to have to step their game up in that sense if they want to crack into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. They got their work cut out for them for sure. I just think for all teams, you get back and you get your legs and team back together under you from the All-Star break, and watching the home run derby and All-Star game was a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. But now we're 5-6 games into the second half of the season, and this is the sprint now. This is when you got to get everything together and be at your top game. For the Nationals, losing Schwarber there right before the end of the All-Star break was a huge turnaround for them, because he was doing some remarkable things. I mean, how many home runs did he hit in June was unreal. He was near 18 or something crazy. He's just unreal.
Yeah, he was playing lights out there. I followed DC media for Washington Football News, and once in a while you'd get one of those beat writers just mention how he hits another home run and how hitting the prop bets, they've made a lot of money over those 18 or so games that he was doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you were on FanDuel or DraftKings or whatever site you use for gambling, and you were laying $50 to $100 on each bet, you were pretty happy after every night after his at bats.
For sure. And let's look at disappointment, right? It's been in the league and it's been around the NL, but to you, halfway through this season, who's been the biggest disappointment in your eyes, talking National League Baseball?
This might be slightly biased. I'm not so sure it's exactly the favorite for underperforming, but I think it's the Phillies, man. Just being a huge, Nationals fan and working for the ball club, I just see the Phillies just, year in and year out seemingly underperforming. And I think some of it is, a little disappointment seeing Harper leave a few years ago, and him, having some good seasons, but not exactly getting over the hump as a team. That being said, for me, I think it's just the Phillies. They're supposed to be, that team that should be getting there, and they haven't really had much success since 2011. So for me, just honing in on the Phillies right now, just sticking in the NL East, I'm gonna say the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, they're in second place, 2.5 games back of the Mets, but like you said, that's most teams strive for that, but this team strives for more, right? What they've done in the offseason, what they've done spending-wise, they're looking for championships, not runner-up places within divisions. And for me, I know injuries has hurt this team a lot, and it should be noted, but, the San Diego Padres being in third place in the NL West, they were World Series contenders and still are, rightfully so, right? They're only 5.5 back of the Giants and 3 back of the Dodgers, who are second in that division. But I think the injuries really hurt this team, and it's going to make them a disappointment, I think, come September and October stretch if they're fortunate enough to make it.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And keeping on the Padres, though, like you just mentioned, I definitely think that success is going to come as this late portion of the season really comes closer, late August, early September. I think what that team can do and who they have, I mean, as we all know, Tatis and Hosmer and Will Myers, Machado, and their pitching staff, I think that's going to come together here as the end of the season comes near.
Well, good deal that you think that, because that leads me right into my next question / segment with you. For folks, we do a rapid fire, a series of 10 questions, and we hit Ryan with a lot of preseason MLB over-unders, bets, who he thinks is going to do well. And Ryan, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. I've got some of those answers written down here that you gave us in mid-March. So let's read them off and see if you cringe or you cheer. You selected as the NL MVP Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals. What's your thoughts on that so far?
It's the first half. It wasn't there for the NL MVP chase for himself. Now the back half might change. I think, as he just said recently, just a couple days ago, that the home run derby actually got his swing back intact. So, and he's already hit a couple of home runs outside the All-Star break here. So, do I think he's going to reach that potential? He's got a hill to climb with the guys that's around him that he's going to be chasing. But we'll see how it shakes out.
Good deal. And another one of those questions, Baltimore Orioles, right? Another team that you're super familiar with and cover. You took them over 62.5 games, which was their season total wins set preseason. Right now, they'd have to play some pretty good second half ball to get there, right? I mean, looking at their record right now, they're 31-62. Do you think that they can make that?
It might be a Hail Mary toss, and someone's got to catch it for me to win this one. It's just not been in the cards for the Orioles. They just have a lot of problems with the pitching, and as we all know, baseball comes down to pitching. And I hate to call them out, but I do think, not to stray away from the question, but I think in a few years we might have to revisit this over/under of 62.5. I think you said, because this season doesn't quite think they're going to get to that point, but I'll still be hopeful, and I'll say they get over it. I will.
Yeah, I mean, they would I ran the numbers last night. They'd have to play 500 ball, 70 games left. They'd have to go 35-35. Right now, with a winning percentage of 33%, it's not going to cut it. So they're going to definitely have to step their game up to help you win that. And, another one we looked at, the NL East. You went homer, took the Washington Nationals to win that division right now. Again, like we talked about, they're sitting fourth, which sounds bad in most scenarios, but they're only 6 games out of the New York Mets. You still feeling confident in your Nats?
You know what? I will back up my answer on that and not change my mind or second guess. I think there's plenty of baseball left. I think a lot of it is going to come down to Strasburg's arm. I think if you get Strasburg, Max Scherzer, and Patrick Corbin, all together, and John Lester, who just threw a gem last night, I think you put those guys together and the season does turn around, and it's going to come down to those divisional games. So plenty of season left. I do think it is up for grabs, but I will back my pick in the Washington Nationals to win the NL East.
There you go. I like it. Hey, you got to stand true to your word, right? And
Yep.
Another one, like you said, there's still a lot of baseball left. You took Juan Soto over 27.5 home runs for the season. Currently sits at 16 with roughly 70 games left. What's your thoughts on that? You think he'll reach it?
I think he can, because according to what he's having to say is the home run derby actually helped him out. And we all know who he beat, which was Shohei Ohtani. And he was supposed to be the big favorite to win that home run derby. And I get it. It's just one night of excitement. But coming out of the All-Star break, Soto's saying that actually helped him. So I'm going to say he can still reach that. It's going to be close either or. I think he might fall just under, just over, but I'm going to, again, back my pick and think he gets the over on that.
Yeah, I mean, batting 300 right now. He's having a good year, and I think folks expected more from him. But we still have a lot of baseball left. It's halfway through. There's 162 games, so he still has time to reach that goal of 27.5. And then following up with the last 2 questions here that you answered for us in mid-March, your World Series selection was the San Diego Padres. Are you going to continue to back them, or you want to switch out?
I want to back them, and this might be tough in a way, because there's something about the Giants and what the San Francisco Giants are doing, another, NL West team. I definitely, if I could, I'd flip a coin, putting heads on the Padres and tails on the Giants, but I feel like if these were my picks, I got to stay behind them. So I'll stick with the Padres.
We'll give you a chance to answer that one coming up in the rapid fire. But last one here for you, 84.5 wins for the Washington Nationals. You selected just over, you said, just by a game or two that you thought that number was spot on, but you took the over. Thoughts on that?
I'm going to keep that to my pick to click. I think the 84.5 is very doable. Again, there's a full second half of the season still to go, as we've mentioned already a few times that we just got out of the All-Star break. And it goes back to the pitching staff. And you put that offense together. This team has done it before, just in 2019, as we know, with that crazy run to win the World Series. And this team knows what to do, and I think they can achieve that goal.
Good deal. No, hey, I appreciate you running through the NL East, what the Nationals are up to, and reviewing what you said back in mid-March. It was the first time we ever put a contestant/interviewee on the hot seat in that sense. So love that you're still backing your picks, and here we are in July, and it's still there. But, Ryan, I got to do it to you again, buddy. I'm going to put you on the hot seat. We are entering
Rapid Fire.
rapid fire, Ryan's a series of 10 questions, no notes, just what's off the top of your head. Are you ready?
Let's do it, Marty. I'm ready.
Question 1, who's winning the NL East?
Washington Nationals, and I'm going to back that pick still.
Question 2, who's winning the NL Central?
I want to say the Cardinals find a way to break through, so I'm a little hesitant, but I'll say the Cardinals.
Question 3, who's winning the NL West?
Give me the Padres. I think they pull out also. They're both wild card teams, but I think they approach where they need to go as the season prolongs.
Question 4, classic condiment race at Oriole Park. Who are you rooting for? Ketchup, mustard, or relish?
The underdog relish every time.
Question 5, do you think the MLB should shorten the season from 162 games?
I think they should make the All-Star break longer. Leave the 162, but the All-Star should deserve a break coming into All-Star break, if that makes sense.
Yep.
In other words, the All-Star participants never really get a break. They just get to perform another day of their days off that could have been.
Yeah, agreed. Question 6, who's winning AL MVP?
I'll go with the favorite, Shohei Ohtani. What he's done with pitching and hitting is just remarkable, and these numbers are just historical right now.
Question 7, what's your favorite junk food?
Gushers, if it qualifies, I think Gushers are the best.
Question 8, who's winning AL Cy Young?
I'll go with the closer of the White Sox, Marty. I think Liam Hendricks, what he's done has just been remarkable and should be really noted. I think he is the top candidate right now.
Question 9, what is your favorite baseball stadium?
Oh, I mean, I wish I could say 3 really quick.
Go ahead. Give us three.
Camden Yards, PNC Bank, and now what's named Oracle Park, which is the Giants Stadium.
Question 10, the one we'll come back to you on come September, October time. Love to get you back on around then. Who's winning the World Series?
Give me the Padres.
All right, you're doubling back down on the San Diego Padres. If I were you, I'd put a few bucks on that just to see if something like that happens. But Ryan, again, man, we really appreciate you jumping on, talking baseball with us, giving us insight and what we need to know halfway through the MLB season.
All right, Marty, thanks for having me on your show again, and I appreciate you having me on.
Don't hurry off after this quick ad. Brady Reuter, Oriole fanatic, jumping on to give us all the insight of what those O's have been up to. Stay tuned. The Baltimore Orioles are the home team, and we have super fan Brady Reuter on to kind of recap what their season looks like, along with getting into some of his preseason bets as well. Brady, how are you doing tonight?
Marty, it's good to talk to you, man. It's been a pretty good summer.
Good deal, man. For the folks listening here, I know they caught you in mid-March. You jumped on, and we talked preseason baseball. Now we're mid-season baseball. Why don't you just give folks just a background of yourself, where you're from, and what teams you root for?
Yeah, man. So I grew up in York County, Pennsylvania. Always grew up a big Orioles fan right down the road in Maryland. I graduated from Penn State in the COVID year of 2020, and now I'm living in Norfolk, Virginia.
Good deal, man. No, like I said, appreciate you again jumping on, and let's get right into that Baltimore Orioles talk, man. That's why I bring you on here. And the Orioles season so far has been as bad as it was advertised in the preseason. But, you know, we don't want to shed too much light on the negativity surrounding the team. Give us a few bright spots that you've seen so far halfway through the season.
Yeah, of course. So, you know, as you already stated, Marty, it's been a pretty rough year for the O's as a whole. However, you could point to just last week during the All-Star break, you had a couple of really good performances. You had, of course, Trey Mancini, who overcame colon cancer, stage 3 colon cancer, in the spring training of early 2020. He participated in the home run derby, and his performance was nothing short of inspirational, and I think really stole the hearts of most Americans just watching. He's had a solid year and been very clutch in the Orioles lineup and just been a very good leader in the clubhouse. He also had leadoff hitter Cedric Mullins, who really became the starting center fielder for the ball club and really came into his own as a legit center fielder throughout baseball. So he posted a 3.9 wins above replacement with batting a 313 batting average, and he's also hit 16 homers and 35 RBIs. Also, back in early May, it was really exciting to see John Means, the Orioles' best starting pitcher for much of 2021, threw a no-hitter against the Seattle Mariners. His health has been kind of shaky because he's been back and forth between the minor league and major leagues with rehab assignments, but it's been really fun to watch him pitch. And Tyler Wells of the bullpen has impressed me quite a bit. He's among the leaders in rookie relievers and strikeouts, so I think he could earn himself into the starting rotation if he continues to pitch solid as a relief pitcher throughout the stretch. And then Ryan Mountcastle, the first baseman / designated hitter for the ball club, actually won the Rookie of the Month in the month of June for hitting a lot of home runs and being a solid hitter. So he's definitely looking like he'll be a power hitter moving forward that the O's would like to have on their ball club.
Yeah, no, they've got some young talent, right? They've got some folks coming up. They've got some people that played in the All-Star game. They've got people who won midseason awards, like you've said, monthly awards, and they just haven't seemed to put it all together just quite yet. Brandon Hyde, manager there, trying to ride the ship, trying to see what happens. I know they just drafted a young center fielder in the first round out of Sam Houston State. The name is slipping me right now.
Colton Cowser.
Yep, that's right. And we'll see what they can build there. And, looking at the division that they're in, the AL East, right? It's Boston, it's New York, Tampa Bay is usually pretty good, and Toronto can spend money in the offseason and get there too. But looking at the division, like I just said, it's up in the air, right? Besides the Orioles, every team in there is only separated by a total of 7 games. What's your thought on the division so far?
Yeah, so I guess as pretty much expected, as is the case most years, the AL East has been a dogfight for all season long. I'll say this, I am surprised at how good Boston is. They're currently in first place, just ahead of the Rays. They honestly look like they can make another run at the World Series, much to, I think, everyone's chagrin right now. Between the Blue Jays and the New York Yankees, they've been very inconsistent. They've been hovering around 7 to 7.5 games back, but I just don't know if they're consistent enough, especially with their pitching, to be able to make it to October. With Tampa Bay, on the other hand, I definitely am expecting them to be right there with Boston until the end, and the Rays are probably going to be a team to look out for come October.
Yeah, like you said, every year is almost a dogfight, and unfortunately, the Orioles aren't in it this year, but hopefully in the comings, they'll be right back up at the top where we believe they belong. But, Brady, we had you on in mid-March, preseason baseball talk, and you made a lot of predictions in terms of teams' outcomes and individual player outcomes. And if you don't mind, I'm going to put you on a little pre-rapid seed here and go through some of those, what you said, see if you still back them, and maybe even give you a chance to change your answer if you like to. How about that?
All right, sounds good.
Let's go. Hey, first off, you're MLB MVP of the entire league. Tatis Jr. from the San Diego Padres, as we all know. And if you didn't, unfortunately, he suffered a season-ending injury. I'll give you a replacement. You know anybody off the top of your head right now you'd take?
So I actually wasn't tracking that. So you say Tatis Jr. is out for the rest of the year now?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. A lot of players that I've picked to win all these awards, it seems like more and more now are getting hurt. Yeah, I got a couple actually that I think are front runners now that Tatis is out of the picture. So Trey Turner of the Washington Nationals, he's batting .319 with 18 home runs and 46 RBIs. He's currently posting a 3.8 wins above replacement. So I think he's probably the front runner for NL MVP. And then second, I'd go with Nick Castellanos of the Cincinnati Reds, who is posting a .329 batting average with 18 home runs and 10 RBIs. And he's posting a 2.4 wins above replacement.
Yeah, no, they're they're good replacements, and yeah, I can't fault you for a preseason pick that unfortunately is incorrect due to injury and more injury talk for your future bets. You had AL MVP Mike Trout. You had AL Cy Young Tyler Glasgow of the Tampa Bay Rays. And you had NL Comeback Player of the Year Steven Strasburg. All preseason picks, all dealing or dealt with major injuries throughout the season. Just any thoughts on that you have on any type of replacement or, kind of an explanation on what's going on there?
Yeah, so as is the case in most sports, injuries are really tough to predict. Sometimes some players are just unfortunately plagued with the injury bug. Other times they just come at a shocker. So I'll put some replacements for those guys that I was tracking to win these awards. Still in defense, these guys were going to have solid seasons, and then just things were turning for the worse. So I'll start off with AL MVP. So when I took Mike Trout, I'll say now I'll have Shohei Ohtani, of course, the historic two-way player for the Los Angeles Angels, Mike Trout's teammate. He's basically the modern-day Babe Ruth, both for his efforts on the mound and at the plate, which is really crazy. If you saw the home run derby and the All-Star game, he was the starting pitcher on the mound and bat leadoff. He was also in the home run derby itself, which is wild. He's posting a 6.1 wins above replacement, and he's basically almost the Angels' entire team right now. Him and Jared Walsh are just barely keeping the Angels relevant, which is kind of sad.
Yeah. No, he's definitely somebody who gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so. Like you said, I think last night pitched 6 innings, and then he went out and played right field. Like, just stuff that's unheard of in this day and age with load management and players taking games off, series off to get ready. He's playing every opportunity he can and at every position. So it's really fun to watch. And you didn't get everything wrong. You even got some right as of right now. One thing you hit on in the preseason was Trey Mancini, boom, boom Trey, as we like to call him out here in Baltimore. Over 12.5 home runs. He currently sits with 16, and I'm sure you think that he can add more on.
Oh, yeah, I think he'll probably end up with somewhere between 25 and 30. Yeah, I said he had a big season. I mean, he's had a very good year, maybe not a MVP type season, but I mean, you got to consider he missed all of 2020. Like I said before, he'd been in the home run derby and put up a fight against Pete Alonso, so that was really entertaining. So he's posting a 0.9 wins above replacement, and he's batting .258 with, like you said, 16 home runs and 57 RBIs. And so I hope with the trade deadline coming up at the end of July, I hope the Orioles decide to keep him around and extend him out for several years to come, because he really is the veteran kind of leader that you need in a team that's rebuilding like the Orioles. Obviously, with him overcoming cancer and all that leadership he builds, like his presence in the clubhouse is just something that I think a team like us that's going through a lot of turnover and a lot of young faces needs to lean on with someone like him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, even in rebuild stages, you have to have veterans in that locker room, in the clubhouse to keep the faith going and keep the vision clear of management that, even though we're losing 100-plus games, there is an end to this journey. And 2 more questions that you answered for us, the 2 I want to focus on. You picked the San Diego Padres to win the World Series, and you thought the Baltimore Orioles we're going to win over 62.5 games. You going to stick with both of those bold predictions?
You know what? Yes, I am. It's going to be an outside shot for both of those, but hey, the Orioles have just won 3 in a row. So right now they're currently sitting at 31 and 62 with about 69 games left. So it's going to be a tough shot. They're going to have to play right around 500 ball in order to avoid 100 losses and in order to make that 62.5 game mark. But I have hope. I'm going to stick with them. Maybe I'm a little bit more optimistic than realistic at this point, but I'm going to stick with my gut. And then for the NL champion out of the National League, the Padres, I'm going to stick with them. However, I think that they're going to have to compete with the Giants, who are a big surprise to everybody. I think the Giants and the Dodgers will be neck and neck with the Padres. And San Diego might find themselves as a wild card, basically fighting for the one-game chance in order to make the division series and go from there in the National League pennant race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see with both of those picks. It'll literally come down to the last couple games. And Brady, again, always enjoy talking Orioles baseball with you. Always enjoy putting you on the hot seat, getting you the answers. But I got to do it to you again, man. We did it in March. Let's enter
Rapid Fire.
Rapid Fire. Brady's a series of 10 questions. No notes. I just want what's off the top of your head. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Let's hear it.
Question 1. Who's winning the AL East?
That would be the Boston Red Sox.
Question 2. Who's winning the AL Central?
Chicago White Sox.
Question 3. Who's winning the AL West?
AOS would go to the Houston Astros. The trash can Astros.
Question 4. Classic condiment race at Camden Yards. Who you rooting for? Ketchup, mustard, or relish?
I gotta go with relish, Marty. You know what? They've been the underdogs for way too long. They deserve a spot in the spotlight. You know, they really have earned their time in the light. You know.
Question 5. Do you believe the MLB should shorten the season from 162 games?
Absolutely not.
Question 6. Who's winning NL MVP?
Nick Castellanos.
Question 7. What's your favorite junk food?
My favorite junk food is Grandma's potato chips.
Question 9. What is your favorite baseball park?
My favorite baseball park is Fenway Park.
And question 10, Brady, the one that I hope to get you back on come September, October time frame to review. Who do you believe is winning the World Series?
I'm going to stick with my guns, Marty. The San Diego Padres will win the 2021 World Series.
All righty, guys, you heard it here first. He said it in March. He sang it in July. And let's see if come October it sticks to be true, the San Diego Padres winning the World Series. Brady, again, man, as always, I appreciate you jumping on. Can't wait to get you back to talk more baseball.
Thanks so much, Marty. It's been a real fun time with you.
Don't scurry off now. The Bring Your Lunch Money segment when we return. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Hey, look, we did an MLB show, right? So it's only right we do MLB picks, and I'm looking at futures. We're halfway through the season, and there's 3 particular that I'm going to give you in a rapid-fire session real quick right now. Get your pens. Let's go. For the World Series, I'm going to double down with our guests. Both Ryan and Brady love the Padres to win it all. They're at plus 750 right now. So if you put $5 on that, that will win you $37.50. My next pick, I really like this one, folks. The Chicago White Sox to win the American League pennant. They will be facing the San Diego Padres in the World Series. I think they're at plus 300 right now. Put $5 on them to win $15. I like their manager, and I like the way that the team has pitching. And as well, one more for you, the Tampa Bay Rays to win the American League East. Yes, we wish it was Baltimore, but unfortunately it's not. And I'm not picking the Yankees or the Red Sox. We don't like them around here. So we're going to go with Tampa Bay at plus 130 to win the division. Put $5 on that to win $6.50. Again, remember, San Diego Padres to win it all, the Chicago White Sox to win the American League, and the Tampa Bay Rays to win the American League East Division. They're hot, and they will make you fat and happy. And that wraps us up this week here at Intercept Your Lunch, folks. Again, I want to thank Ryan MacCubbin, Mr. National, jumping on, talking all sorts of NL baseball with us, and Oriole fanatic Brady Reuter. Orioles magic, baby. Let's hope they can get it back next season. As always, you can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you are fortunate enough to tune into this show. We appreciate all the love and support as always. And Chris Cross, take us out, buddy. Your money's in the mail. Peace.